Hey friends, welcome to my second composition notebook art journal series. This is Finding Rainbows. So here is my inspiration piece. I just saw this a few days ago. This is Lauren Van Vliet. This is my art journaling and mixed media Facebook group. So it's a great group. So if you want a nice encouraging group, go join. And so I really liked her page, and so I am going to use that as my inspiration. So I noticed that she has a lot of black and white collage fodder in the background of her rainbow. So that's what I am starting with. I've just collected a bunch of materials that I can use that are just black and white. So this page was from some practice my daughter and I were doing with some calligraphy markers. I'm also using book pages and sheet music and let's see, a security envelope, an old calendar. I've got some guitar chord music ready that I'm not using anymore. So yeah, I just gathered all the materials I could ahead of time so that when I'm in the midst of the process, I don't have to go running around my supplies and looking for more. So this sheet is from when my printer went on the fritz and started printing all this weird, crazy, whatever it is. But I think it makes for some cool collage material. I like to start a lot of my pages with collage because it is so non-threatening. Most of it will be covered up. There's kind of no wrong way to do it, really. I mean, there's some strategies, some philosophies, like you kind of move similar elements around the page so that you don't have too much of the same thing overlapping. And let's see, what are some other strategies when it comes to collaging? Some people have all their lines horizontal and vertical. I'm kind of doing that here. And then sometimes you can just tear every which way and overlap that way. You can collage any way you want. So I just realized as I'm editing this video that little piece right there says Skylar is smelly. Skylar is our dog, our golden retriever, and my daughter, who is very much a cat person, wrote that when she was practicing her calligraphy. Okay, so now I'm going to soften up my background just a little bit with some pearlescent paint. And then I'm realizing it's really thin and transparent, so I'm going to bring in some white acrylic paint and might use gesso or something. My finger was wet, didn't really spread at first, but I want my background papers to show through, but I want to just kind of soften it up a little bit. And since I poured way too much paint on my little palette there, I am just gonna smear it on the next page. So that'll be a new starting point. And I am gonna start with my rainbow now. I'm starting with a Posca marker, but that's really just because I wanna kind of get the arc right. And then I am going to use paint and a paintbrush to paint my rainbow colors. Here's my inspiration piece again. I liked how her rainbow looked, just starting with the blue on the outside, going down to green, and then jumping to red. It's not the Roy G. Biv order, but I like the way her rainbow looks, so I am going to borrow her rainbow order. As I paint my next color, I'm going to leave just a little bit of a white gap in between my colors. That way, I don't know, I just like having a little bit of the collage kind of come through the backside. As you can see from my inspiration piece, I think one of the things that grabbed my attention was that pink outline on the edge. And I love using my fingers. I don't know when I started doing it, but ever since I started, I can't stop. I don't want to stop. I don't have to stop. I like using my fingers. If you haven't used your fingers, you should try it. There's a lot of control there. Yeah. So I also liked the more bright colors, like the bright pink, and I thought, well, I'm gonna add a little bit more of like the fluorescent bright colors into my rainbow. So I got the orange and the yellow, and it just makes it pop just a little bit more. Okay, so I figured out this trick to use parchment paper when I'm adding words to my page to kind of work on the spacing. And I don't know if I worded my quote the right way. It's not really it's not a quote that I found. What I wrote was, you can always find what you're looking for. And I don't know if it's very self-evident. It means a lot to me. So when I first moved from one state to another and started asking around, what's it like? What's the weather like? What are the people like? And you can get opposite answers from different people. Some people are like, oh, the weather's terrible. It's so hot. It's so humid. The people are rude. The people are stuck up, And I find that your attitude really determines what you see around you. Like if you're looking for the bad in people, you'll find it. But if you're looking for the good in people, you will find that too. So do you just take the crappy weather with the good and have an optimistic outlook on things, or do you look for reasons to complain? So that's kind of the sentiment behind my quote, the sentiment behind my sentiment. Yeah. Maybe it would have been better worded as, you tend to find what you're searching for. Like maybe I would have wrote it that way instead. I don't know. But now I am just doing some mark making with this kind of sky blue color, a couple little raindrops coming in, because when there's a rainbow, you got to have a little bit of raindrops. I did notice that as I am filling in these little blue marks, even though I'm having fun doing it, I am kind of making my background disappear a little bit more. It's just becoming more subtle, which is okay. Okay, now I am going to take a white Posca marker and add some details in the colors of my rainbow. I'm using all white until I get down to the yellow, and because the yellow is so bright, I used a black Posca, but it's very light and subtle, so it doesn't lose the contrast in there. Well, that's my page. Thanks again to Laura for providing me the inspiration, and thank you for tuning in and staying with me till the end. If you want to come back and hang out with me again, please subscribe, and then have a blessed day.